representative of my country, I would like to assure the Council of my cooperation and support in tackling issues that pertain to my country.
And I'm very encouraged by President Salva Kiir's strong commitment and willingness to address this issue as soon as possible.
As a people, you have chosen the path to permanent peace. You have chosen the path to human dignity. And you have chosen the path to nationhood.
Your Excellencies, it is my pleasure and relief to announce to you and this august gathering that this regrettable war and uncalled for bloodshed has been ended. The people of South Sudan were yearning for peace, and our President took the courageous step with the help of IGAD, the Troika, China, and Russia, and the eminent United Nations, and so on.
That the Republic of South Sudan is heading towards lasting peace and stability. This is demonstrated by the ongoing implementation process of the revitalized peace agreement and the willingness of all the parties to work in Juba towards the permanent resolution of the conflict in the Republic of South Sudan.
The Security Council and the Transitional Government of National Unity agreed to work in a fresh spirit of cooperation to advance the interests of South Sudanese people, particularly their aspirations for justice, liberty, and prosperity. They agreed that the humanitarian and security needs of the people were paramount.
We have been tested by conflicts within and beyond our borders. We have been tested by severe economic hardship, and we have been tested by revelation of severe abuse of the public trust and funds, resulting partly from malpractices and lack of capacity.
Food crisis and fuel shortages, my government has taken serious measures. For food, the government has secured funds and contracted credible banks to import food items. And for fuel, we have signed a contract with international company to close the gap of fuel shortages in the country.
World Health Organization, WHO, risk assessment indicates a very high risk worldwide, including our country. The declaration of the disease as pandemic means countries have to take serious and effective action to fight this new coronavirus.
I now give the floor to the distinguished representative of South Sudan to introduce an address by the head of state.
Madam President, since the establishment of the United Nations in 1945, its member grew to a 193-member organization. The latest member to join the United Nations family in the last 75 years was the Republic of South Sudan on July 14, 2011. Allow me, therefore, Madam President, to introduce to this high-level assembly the President of the Republic of South Sudan, His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit, to make his pre-recorded statement. I thank you.
Your Excellency, Ambassador Volkan Bozkir, President of the 75th Session of the United Nations General Assembly. Your Excellency, Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations. Your Excellencies, heads of the state and government, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to address this special session of the United Nations General Assembly, which celebrates the UN 75th anniversary. Mr. President, let me take this opportunity to congratulate you on your election and the Republic of Turkey for presiding over this historic 75th session of the United Nations General Assembly. I would also like to congratulate the members of the United Nations for servicing humanity in the last 75 years. We have reasons to celebrate this anniversary because the UN and its organs have given us the safer world we live in today. Mr. President, despite these achievements, United Nations cannot fulfill its potential in this century without reforms in the Security Council. In this regard, we believe this is the time to transform the UN to reflect the theme of this 75th session, the UN we need for the future we want. Mr. President, these reforms will enable us to implement the 2030 agenda, that is sustainable development as a key to survival of humanity. There are many areas that need reforms in order to improve the United Nations system. Of these, we have Security Council reforms on the top of our list. This is because 75 years since the founding of the United Nations, the geopolitical realities in the world have changed, and UN Security Council remains the same. This situation cannot remain the same any longer, and that is why I am adding my voice to the demand by the African Union for 2 permanent seats in the Security Council. Africans demand this because we are the most affected by the Council's decisions and resolutions. Mr. President, let me briefly update you on the security and political situation in my country. One of the achievements of the Revitalized Peace Agreement 2018 is that the permanent ceasefire that came with it is largely holding, except for few violations carried out by the holdout groups. This improvement in security is reflected by spontaneous return of over 300,000 refugees from neighboring countries since 2017. Internally, the improved security situation is also reflected by the ongoing discussions between the UNMISS and the revitalized government of national unity on modalities of altering the status and handing over of protection of civilian sites to South Sudan's police. Mr. President, with these improvements in security situation, there are some challenges South Sudan cannot address because of constraints imposed by the United Nations. For example, the recently renewed arms embargo on South Sudan by the Security Council has far-reaching implications on the implementation of the revitalized peace agreement security arrangements. For example, we expect to graduate the unified forces very soon, but the question our international partners need to answer is how is the government going to arm these forces when its ability to acquire arms has been blocked. So, Mr. President, we have formed the revitalized government of national unity, and work is continuing on establishing its associated institutions. I'm aware of huge expectations from our people and international community about the pace of agreements implementation. The weight of these expectations has compelled me again and again to make very painful concessions in order to move the process forward. I will continue to do the right thing for the sake of peace and urge other peace partners to do the same. Mr. President, before I end my remarks, I would like to thank the United Nations and the wider international community for endorsing my government offer to mediate the Sudanese conflict. Therefore, through your support, I am pleased to announce that the Juba Peace Agreement between the Transitional Government of Sudan and the Sudanese revolutionary movements will be signed in Juba on October 3rd, 2020. I call upon the international community to remain alongside the Sudanese people as they embark on their long and difficult journey to implement this agreement. And I thank you very much.